Every great leader and organization that has achieved extraordinary success starts with a fundamental question: why? While most companies and individuals focus on what they do or how they do it, the truly inspiring ones start with a clear sense of purpose, cause, or belief. This is the foundation of the Golden Circle, a concept that explains why some leaders and companies inspire while others struggle to differentiate themselves. The Golden Circle consists of 3 levels: what, how, and why. At the outermost level, we find what, the products or services an organization offers. Every company knows what they do. The second level, how, represents the process or unique value proposition that sets them apart. Some companies understand their how. But at the core is the why, and very few organizations or individuals truly understand their why. The why is the deeper purpose, the reason the company exists beyond making money. Starting with why creates a deep emotional connection with people. When companies communicate their why clearly, they attract loyal customers and passionate employees who believe in the same cause. The most successful brands do not sell products, they sell beliefs. For example, Apple does not just sell computers, it champions innovation and challenges the status quo. Customers do not buy what Apple makes, they buy into what Apple stands for. Most companies take an outside-in approach, starting with what and moving inward. They promote their products based on features and benefits. But truly inspiring companies take an inside-out approach, beginning with why and letting it guide how and what they do. When the why is clear, the how and what become extensions of that purpose. The human brain is wired to respond to why. The limbic brain, which controls emotions and decision-making, processes why-level communication. Meanwhile, the neocortex, responsible for rational thinking, processes what and how. This explains why people often make decisions based on feelings and justify them with logic. When leaders communicate a strong why, they tap into emotions, creating deep loyalty and trust. History is filled with examples of leaders who inspired people by starting with why. Martin Luther King Jr. did not say, "I have a plan," he said, "I have a dream." His message resonated because it spoke to a shared belief in justice and equality. People followed him not because of his strategy but because they believed in his vision. Great leaders do not manipulate, they inspire. Many companies try to influence behavior using short-term tactics like discounts, promotions, fear, or pressure. These tactics may drive temporary results but do not create lasting loyalty. True inspiration comes from a deep connection to purpose. When people believe in a cause, they are willing to go the extra mile. The biggest challenge for most companies is clarifying their why. Many focus on profits, competition, or market share but lack a deeper sense of purpose. Without a clear why, their decisions become inconsistent, and they struggle to build loyalty. But when companies start with why, every decision aligns with their core beliefs, creating a sense of authenticity and trust. The best leaders and companies inspire action not by telling people what to do but by helping them see why it matters. When the why is clear, people do not just buy a product or service, they become part of a movement. Inspiration is a powerful force, and those who start with why can move people to action in a way that no amount of manipulation or marketing tricks can achieve. The difference between those who inspire and those who merely sell is authenticity, a genuine belief in a cause that others can rally behind. People do not buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This principle is evident in companies that build strong, loyal followings. Apple, for instance, does not compete on features alone, it represents a philosophy of challenging the status quo. Their customers align with this belief, making them fiercely loyal to the brand. Meanwhile, other tech companies may offer similar or even superior products but fail to inspire the same level of dedication because they focus on what they sell rather than why they exist. The law of diffusion of innovation explains why some ideas spread widely while others fail. Innovators and early adopters, roughly 15% of the population, are the first to embrace a new idea. They do not buy based on logic, they buy based on belief. If an idea resonates with their values, they become its strongest advocates. The majority, however, waits until an idea becomes mainstream before adopting it. This is why starting with why is critical. It attracts the early believers who help spread the message to the masses. Companies and leaders that inspire do not cater to everyone, they speak directly to those who believe what they believe. They focus on their true audience, the people who align with their mission. This is why strong brands do not attempt to please everyone. Instead, they deepen their connection with those who share their values. Building a movement starts with a clear cause. Martin Luther King Jr. did not try to convince everyone to support civil rights. Instead, he spoke to those who already believed in justice and equality. His role was not to create new beliefs but to give voice to those who shared his vision. The same principle applies to business. Great companies do not try to convert skeptics, they focus on energizing believers. An important aspect of leadership is consistency. Starting with why is not enough. A leader must also ensure that their how and what align with their core beliefs. When companies act in a way that contradicts their stated purpose, they lose trust. For example, if a company claims to care about quality but cuts corners to save money, customers sense the disconnect. True loyalty comes from authenticity and consistency. Trust is built when actions and words match. People follow leaders not because they are the most qualified but because they trust their intentions. A company that makes decisions based on its why, even when it is difficult, earns respect and loyalty. Customers and employees alike are drawn to organizations that stand for something greater than profits. A company's why should be deeply embedded in its culture. It should guide hiring decisions, product development, and customer interactions. When employees believe in a company's mission, they bring enthusiasm and dedication to their work. They do not just show up for a paycheck, they feel a sense of purpose. In contrast, companies that lack a clear why struggle with disengaged employees and high turnover. Great leaders create environments where people feel safe to take risks and innovate. When employees know they are part of something meaningful, they are more willing to push boundaries, challenge conventional thinking, and contribute their best ideas. This culture of trust and purpose fuels long-term success. True inspiration happens when a leader's why is so strong and so clear that others cannot help but be drawn to it. They do not force people to follow, they make it impossible for them not to. Loyalty is not built through promotions, discounts, or clever marketing. True loyalty, whether from customers, employees, or followers, comes from a deep connection to a shared belief system. When people identify with a company's or leader's why, they remain committed, even when faced with challenges or better alternatives. Consider how Apple, Southwest Airlines, or Harley-Davidson have built tribes rather than just customer bases. Their followers do not just buy products, they buy into a movement. They feel like they are part of something bigger than themselves. This emotional connection is what separates inspiring leaders from those who merely sell a product. The challenge for many companies is maintaining their why as they grow. In the beginning, a startup is often driven by a strong purpose. Founders have a clear vision, and early employees believe in the mission. However, as the company expands, the focus often shifts to profits, competition, and efficiency. If the why is not protected, the company loses its identity, and with it, the loyalty of both employees and customers. One of the best ways to safeguard the why is through leadership. Great leaders act as guardians of the company's purpose, ensuring that every decision aligns with its core beliefs. They hire people who share the same values, not just those with the right skills. Skills can be taught, but belief in a mission cannot be forced. When employees deeply resonate with a company's why, they become more engaged, creative, and dedicated. Southwest Airlines is a perfect example of a company that has remained true to its why. Unlike other airlines that compete on price or luxury, Southwest's mission has always been about democratizing air travel, making flying accessible to the average person. Every decision, from hiring to customer service to pricing strategy, aligns with this belief. As a result, employees are passionate, customers are loyal, and the airline thrives even in tough times. A company's why must also be reflected in its leadership style. Great leaders do not command from the top, they inspire from within. They create a culture where employees feel valued, heard, and empowered. They foster an environment where innovation thrives because people feel safe to take risks. Trust is another crucial component of leadership. Trust is built over time through consistent actions and integrity. When leaders stay true to their values, even in difficult situations, they earn the unwavering trust of their followers. Employees and customers alike will stand by an organization that remains faithful to its principles. However, when a company loses sight of its why, problems arise. Take Walmart as an example. In its early days, Walmart's why was about helping small-town Americans save money and improve their lives. Employees and customers alike were passionate about this mission. But as Walmart expanded, it became more focused on cost-cutting at all costs, leading to ethical concerns, employee dissatisfaction, and a damaged reputation. The loss of its original why weakened its connection with its loyal base. This highlights a key lesson: a company's success is not just about what it does but why it does it. The strongest brands and leaders remain committed to their purpose, even when faced with tempting short-term gains that could compromise their mission. Great leaders recognize that profit is a result, not a purpose. Companies that prioritize their why tend to be more profitable in the long run, but the profit itself is not the driving force. The driving force is always the belief, the mission, the deeper purpose. The most successful leaders and companies are those that communicate their why effectively. People are not inspired by what a company does, they are inspired by why it does it. This is why great leaders, from Martin Luther King Jr. to Steve Jobs, focused on spreading a vision rather than just selling a product or service. The way a leader or company communicates its message determines whether people feel emotionally connected to it. Most organizations make the mistake of starting with what they do, then explaining how they do it, and only sometimes addressing why they do it. This approach fails to inspire because it does not appeal to human emotion or deeper purpose. The golden circle, a concept introduced in Start with Why, reverses this approach. It starts with why, the purpose, then moves to how, the process, and finally what, the product or service. This inside-out approach ensures that people connect with the belief first, making them more likely to take action. For example, if Apple followed the conventional method of communication, their message might sound like this: "We make great computers. They are beautifully designed and easy to use. Want to buy one?" This approach focuses on what they do, making them no different from any other company. However, Apple communicates differently. We believe in challenging the status quo and thinking differently. We create beautifully designed, easy-to-use products. Oh, and we happen to make computers. Want to buy one? This second message starts with why, a belief in innovation and challenging conventions. As a result, customers feel emotionally connected to Apple's mission and are more likely to buy its products. The same principle applies to leadership. Martin Luther King Jr. did not stand up and say, "I have a plan." He said, "I have a dream." His message was not about specific policies or logistics but about a vision of the future. He communicated a purpose so compelling that people were moved to action. To inspire, leaders must use clear and authentic messaging that resonates with their audience's values and emotions. Great leaders understand that people do not just process information rationally, they make decisions based on gut feelings and emotions. The limbic part of the brain, responsible for decision-making, responds to emotions and beliefs rather than logic. This is why a well-communicated why is so powerful. It speaks directly to the part of the brain that drives action. Another key element of effective communication is consistency. If a company or leader's words do not match their actions, they lose credibility. Customers and employees alike can sense inauthenticity, and once trust is broken, it is difficult to regain. Consistency means ensuring that a company's branding, marketing, customer service, and internal culture all align with its why. If a business claims to prioritize customer experience but provides poor service, people will see the disconnect and lose trust. If a leader preaches integrity but makes unethical decisions, their followers will become disengaged. For inspiration to be effective, it must also be reinforced through action. Words alone are not enough. Leaders must prove their commitment to their why through their decisions, behaviors, and long-term strategies. When companies and individuals communicate their why effectively and consistently, they do not just attract customers, they build movements. People who believe in their mission become evangelists, spreading their message to others. This organic growth is far more powerful than any marketing campaign. The challenge is that many organizations lose sight of their why over time. As they grow, they focus more on profit, competition, and external pressures, causing them to drift from their original mission. The most successful companies and leaders are those who continuously reaffirm and reinforce their why, ensuring it remains at the core of everything they do. Understanding and articulating your why is only the beginning. The real challenge is maintaining it over time, especially as an organization grows or as a leader faces pressures to adapt. Many companies and leaders start with a strong purpose, but as they expand, they begin making decisions based on market trends, competition, or financial targets rather than their core belief. This shift can erode trust, dilute their identity, and ultimately lead to their downfall. The most inspirational leaders and companies stay true to their why by embedding it in every aspect of their organization. This means hiring employees who share their beliefs, reinforcing their mission through consistent messaging, and ensuring their products or services reflect their values. When the why remains at the center, decisions become easier and more aligned, leading to long-term success. Take the case of companies like Apple and Southwest Airlines. Their commitment to their why has allowed them to thrive for decades. Apple never strayed from its belief in innovation and simplicity, even when facing financial difficulties in the 1990s. Rather than cutting costs or following industry trends, it doubled down on its mission to create groundbreaking technology that enhances people's lives. Similarly, Southwest Airlines has stayed true to its goal of making air travel accessible and enjoyable, refusing to compromise its values even in times of economic uncertainty. In contrast, companies that lose sight of their why often struggle or fail. Many once great organizations, like Kodak and Blockbuster, started with a clear purpose but eventually became reactive rather than visionary. They prioritized short-term profits over their original mission, causing them to lose relevance and connection with their audience. The same principle applies to leaders and individuals. Those who maintain a strong sense of purpose in their careers, relationships, and personal lives tend to be more fulfilled and successful. They do not let external pressures dictate their actions. Instead, they make choices that align with their deeper beliefs. Leaders like Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey, and Martin Luther King Jr. stayed true to their vision despite criticism and obstacles, inspiring millions in the process. To sustain the why over time, leaders must also adapt without compromising their core belief. The world changes, markets evolve, and new challenges arise, but the essence of an organization or individual's mission should remain constant. Adaptation does not mean abandoning values, it means finding new ways to express them in changing environments. Another critical factor in maintaining the why is succession planning. For a company or movement to endure beyond its founder, the why must be deeply ingrained in the culture. Many organizations collapse after their visionary leader steps down because their why was never fully transferred to the next generation of leadership. Successful companies like Disney and Nike have managed to maintain their purpose even as leadership changed because their mission was bigger than any one individual. Building a legacy requires mentorship, storytelling, and continuous reinforcement of the why. Leaders must share their vision with future generations, empowering others to carry the message forward. They must create a culture where employees, customers, and stakeholders all feel invested in the mission. Ultimately, those who start with why create lasting impact. They do not just sell products or lead teams, they inspire movements. They do not chase trends, they define them. They do not seek followers, they create believers. The power of why is that it connects people on a deeper level. It taps into human emotions, creating loyalty, trust, and action. Those who understand and harness this power leave a legacy that transcends time and circumstance. By maintaining a clear, consistent, and compelling why, leaders and organizations can inspire generations, not just through what they do, but through the deeper purpose that drives them.